stop. Before you scroll past this, you need to hear what just happened. In the last 36 hours, the United States of America launched what may be the single most consequential military operation since the Gulf War. Hundreds of strikes, an entire regime's military command erased, and a supreme leader who ruled with an iron fist for decades, dead. President Donald Trump just addressed the nation and the world in a video posted directly to Truth Social. No press conference, no filtered media, straight to the people. And what he said will define the next decade of global history. This is Gray Zone Pulse, where we go beyond the headlines, cut through the noise, and give you the full picture of what's really happening in the world's most dangerous flashpoints. Let's break this down. Trump gave it a name that leaves nothing to the imagination: Operation Epic Fury. Over the past 36 hours, the United States, alongside its partners, unleashed what Trump described as one of the largest, most complex, and most overwhelming military offensives the world has ever witnessed. His exact words: "Nobody's seen anything like it." Now, that kind of language from any leader would normally invite skepticism, but the details that followed were staggering. Hundreds of targets hit across Iran simultaneously. Revolutionary Guard facilities, the backbone of Iran's ideological military force, struck. Iranian air defense systems, the very infrastructure designed to protect the country from exactly this kind of assault, neutralized. And in what Trump announced as one of the most dramatic single actions of the entire operation, 9 Iranian naval ships, plus their naval construction building, destroyed. Not over hours, not over days, in minutes. Think about what that means tactically. This wasn't a surgical strike or a warning shot. This was a coordinated multi-domain offensive, air, sea, and likely cyber, designed to strip Iran of its ability to respond, retaliate, or regroup. The United States military went in with overwhelming force and overwhelming speed. And that was just the beginning. Here is the moment that stopped the world. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, is dead. For over 30 decades, Khamenei sat at the top of the Islamic Republic's power structure. He was not just a political leader, he was a theological authority, a symbol, the ideological engine of a regime that called itself divinely ordained. His grip on Iran and his reach across the region through proxy forces in Lebanon, Yemen, Iraq, and Gaza shaped the entire architecture of Middle Eastern conflict for a generation. And now he's gone. Trump did not mourn. He called Khamenei a wretched and vile man, one who had the blood of hundreds, possibly thousands of Americans on his hands, a man responsible, Trump said, for the slaughter of countless innocent people across many nations. But here's what Trump said next, and this is the part that many mainstream outlets will gloss over. Last night, all across Iran, in cities large and small, the voices of ordinary Iranian citizens could be heard in the streets, not wailing, not protesting, not demanding revenge, people celebrating in the open. That image, if it holds, if it's as widespread as claimed, fundamentally challenges the narrative that military action against the Iranian regime is an attack on the Iranian people. Trump is drawing a sharp, deliberate line between the government and the governed, between the regime and the nation. Whether that distinction holds in the weeks ahead, that's the gray zone we'll be watching closely. It wasn't just Khamenei. Trump announced that Iran's entire military command structure has been dismantled. Generals, commanders, the chain of decision-making that would ordinarily coordinate a response, gone. And then came a detail that tells you everything about the psychological state inside Iran right now. Thousands of Iranian military personnel, Trump said thousands, are calling in, requesting immunity, offering to surrender. They aren't regrouping. They aren't preparing a counterattack. They are picking up phones and asking for protection. This is what military strategists call catastrophic command collapse, when soldiers lose faith not just in the battle, but in the entire structure they served, when the orders stop coming and the ideology that justified the fight evaporates, the will to fight goes with it. Trump spoke directly to those fighters still in the field. He issued a stark, unambiguous message: lay down your arms and receive full immunity, or face, in his words, certain death. It won't be pretty. No diplomatic softening, no room for misinterpretation. But now we have to slow down. Because behind every military operation, behind every strategic briefing, and every dramatic announcement, there are human beings. Earlier today, CENTCOM confirmed that 3 American service members have been killed in action. Trump paused on this. He called them true American patriots who made the ultimate sacrifice. He asked the nation to grieve with their families. He promised prayers for the wounded and pledged that America would avenge their deaths with the most punishing response possible. And then he said something that felt raw and real in a way that scripted presidential addresses rarely do. Sadly, there will likely be more before it ends. No spin, no reassurance that it's all under control, just the brutal honesty of a wartime leader, acknowledging that the price of this mission hasn't been fully paid yet, that more families will get the call, that more names will be added to a list no one wants to be on. That acknowledgement matters, because it reframes this entire operation not as a distant geopolitical event, but as a living, ongoing cost being paid in American lives. So why now? Why this? Why Iran? Trump laid out the strategic argument plainly. An Iranian regime armed with nuclear weapons and long-range ballistic missiles would not just threaten Israel, America's closest ally in the region, it would threaten every nation on Earth. It would give the world's #1 state sponsor of terrorism the ultimate insurance policy, the ability to arm proxy forces, fund violent movements, and export chaos, all while hiding behind a nuclear umbrella that makes retaliation unthinkable. Trump said it clearly: we cannot allow a nation that raises terrorist armies to possess such weapons. For nearly 50 years, the Islamic Republic has chanted death to America and death to Israel, not as rhetoric, but as foreign policy. They backed Hezbollah, they armed Hamas, they supplied the Houthis with the missiles that targeted American and Allied shipping. They funded militias that killed U.S. troops in Iraq and Syria. Trump's message: the tab is due. He called this operation not just a defense of America today, but a responsibility to future generations, to children and grandchildren who should never have to live in the shadow of a nuclear-armed terrorist state. And then Trump did something unexpected. He looked past the regime entirely and spoke directly to the Iranian people. I call upon all Iranian patriots who yearn for freedom: seize this moment, be brave, be bold, be heroic. Take back your country. America is with you. He reminded them of a promise he made and said he fulfilled it. The rest, he said, is up to them, but America will be there to help. This is deliberate. This is a signal not just to Tehran, but to the region, to allies, and to history, that the goal is not the destruction of Iran. The goal is the end of the regime that has held Iran hostage for 50 decades. Whether the Iranian people are ready to seize that moment, that is the question that will define everything that comes next. Combat operations are ongoing. The objectives, Trump says, have not yet been fully achieved, and until they are, the operation continues in full force. This is not the end of the story. This is the beginning of a new and deeply uncertain chapter, one that will ripple through global politics, energy markets, regional alliances, and the balance of power in the Middle East for years to come. Here at Gray Zone Pulse, we don't do surface-level coverage. We track the moves behind the moves, the strategy behind the strikes, the human stories behind the headlines. If you want to stay ahead of what's really happening in the world's most volatile flashpoints, subscribe to Gray Zone Pulse right now. Hit the like button. Share this video with someone who wants the truth, not the talking points. The Gray Zone is where history is made, and we'll be here every step of the way. God bless the fallen. Stay sharp. Stay informed.